Hi, how's it going? Heatray UK. I've added a little red end filter to make the place seem homely and attractive. Do you like it? The Monsters 365 project. Some of you might not be familiar with it, but it's a thing where I do one creature a day for a year and I see what happens. Well, it started last May, and what's happening now is that I'm planning an exhibition for when the project finishes, showcasing. Oh my god, it suddenly got really bright. There we go. Showcasing all 365 monsters. If you haven't seen the project, if you haven't seen my creatures and stuff, there's a link to it in the low bar. I want to give a shout out to Bigfoot Actual, for whom I'm going to be doing a exclusive Bigfoot illustration. Big fan of Sasquatch, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Again, there's a link to their Instagram account in the low bar, so you can visit that, see what they do. Bigfoot Actual is a lot of fun. Well, there you go. So what else is going on? Well, what am I into lately? Lately I'm into He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Wait, it's not funny. I've developed a kind of fondness for this franchise. One of the reasons I like it so much is that it's so basic and so primary. If you want to do kind of pop fiction analysis, it's a really great place to start because you can read into it really easily. You can't get more obvious than Skeletor, and that's why that's the source of humor. As I understand it, a production of Masters of the Universe is go. It's green light. So before that happens, I wanted to get my cultural awe in about that and talk about how a He-Man movie could be a cool thing. Well, you're obviously kind of a little bit handicapped from the outset. I mean, his name is He-Man. We don't currently, as a culture, tend to go in for hyper-masculine role models, probably with good reason. So how do you make people like He-Man? I guess he should be funny. I guess he should be a little naive. The way to handle a pitch like He-Man, I suppose, is like a pantomime. Everyone involved in it is just a caricature. You have all the elements of fable there. You have wise wizards. You have evil geniuses that are surrounded by nincompoop hench people. In the middle, you have He-Man, who is the adorable bimbo. And he is. I've been watching a lot of the old cartoons. I've been particularly getting into She-Ra. She-Ra, Princess of Power, begins with an unprecedented 5-part story arc. As I can recall, there was nothing like that going on at the time. It's absolutely incredible. And it does a world-building thing. He-Man is in it, Skeletor is in it, as well as Hordak, She-Ra's principal enemy. It turns out that She-Ra, she's an agent of Hordak. She's a baddie, but she goes to Eternia on behalf of the evil forces. But there, she learns that she's on the wrong side, and she has a change of heart. It turns out also she's He-Man's sister. Incredible. It turns out also Skeletor was once an agent of Hordak, and what he tried to do was he broke into the royal palace on Eternia as a favor for Hordak and tried to steal the children, Adam and Adora. That's He-Man and She-Ra. He didn't make it out with Adam, but he made it out with She-Ra. But then she was handed over to Hordak, and Hordak was like, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna disappear with this baby, and you, Skeletor, can stay here. I'm just gonna abandon you because." I don't know why, but it certainly pissed off Skeletor, as you can imagine. So there's the whole big mythos going on here, which is really exciting to watch. So I think if you're going to do a He-Man movie, you need to have something at the beginning that sort of tells the story of this separation of the babies, so that in a sequel you can have She-Ra coming in and doing her thing. as a kind of as a reveal. Anyway, as part of the Monsters 365 project, I was thinking of doing a series of Masters of the Universe pictures, maybe accompanied by a pitch. I don't know. I'm tempted to want to get it out there before the movie really gains traction, because I'd be really interested to see if what they end up doing bears any reflection to what I think they should be doing. Well, because I'm egotistical. The other thing that's been going on that I cannot help but notice lately is the extraordinary wave of negative feedback to The Last Jedi. One of the things I was thinking about today was Luke Skywalker himself, which I mean, the way that the movie dealt with Luke Skywalker's character seems to have come under a lot of flack, and I don't get it. I don't get it. I loved Mark Hamill in this movie. I loved Luke Skywalker in this movie, and I just don't see the problem. Apparently, he's just too malign or something. He's not a golden hero anymore. Well, you know, it's not like they've made him that dark. They haven't really made him that dark. They haven't turned him into Batman or something. Not that Batman himself in the movies is dark in a mature way to begin with, but they haven't really made him an anti-hero. He's just a little bit more human, a little bit changed. Watching the idealism kind of bleed to the surface during the course of his performance, during the course of his narrative, is a real pleasure. And he does cool stuff. I mean, what do you want? You know, what's the alternative? Rey turns up and he just teaches her like Yoda or something, and then you get a whole kind of rehash. Who gives a fuck about that? You know, it's not, that just wouldn't be interesting. And it's not a betrayal of Luke Skywalker at all. It's an evolution, and in the end, he represents everything you could have wanted. And he gives a great performance, and it's nuanced, and it's interesting. Fuck off. That's what I reckon. I really, really hope that they don't take to heart the huge backlash that's happened amongst fandom, and I hope that they make good on their promise to give Rian Johnson a trilogy to himself. I really, really hope that. The other thing that's really unnerving about all this is that looking on YouTube, I want to see critical voices. Now, I like The Last Jedi, I like it a lot, but I wanted to listen to people who didn't like it, and I wanted to listen to what they had to say. I'm prepared to take them seriously, and I'm interested in the conversation. Of course, having clicked on a number of these links, YouTube now thinks that all I want to hear is rants about how SJW Star Wars is and all that kind of bullshit. And it's a really good example of how the algorithms just lead you down a rabbit hole. And I'm now, whenever I go onto YouTube, despite my best efforts to find controversial opinions, I'm stuck in this just obscene echo chamber of reactionary horror about this movie. There's no diversity of opinion whatsoever. That's a lesson. You got to be really careful, you know, because social media is a great thing, and public access media like YouTube is just a really terrific thing. But your worst prejudices will be coddled by this system, and you don't want that. I don't want that. So just be aware. Stay aware. Well, that's it for me today. This has been a real ramble, so thank you very much for indulging me.